wake up, the teardrops.
They fall down like rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be kids. Now we're not. Something happened in between. This is the Broken Youth Club.
Should I tell my dance story?
Sure.
Okay, so the premise, I think, behind tonight is, I was just thinking, yeah, again, what was a time where we were confident going into a situation that, like, this is going to pay off in my favor, and it totally doesn't. It just doesn't work out. And I told the story about asking the girl out and just totally getting just a hard no to the face. That was kind of a situation I'm talking about. Yeah. It could be romantic, but it also could be, professional or just a random act of kindness or whatever. But yeah. So I immediately thought of, and I'm going to feel probably a little weird because I'm pretty sure she listens.
She does. She does.
I'm still just as weird and I'm not as suave.
What are you trying to do right now?
What?
Hey, you. You're unavailable now, okay? It doesn't matter if she thinks that you are suave or not. You are unavailable. She is also unavailable.
No, okay. Let me get the story. I'm a little scatterbrained today. It was a 7th grade dance. Pretty sure it was 7th grade. I was like brand new to the school, is the way I remember it. And I had like this just heavy crush on a girl who was like 1 degree separation from a friend of mine from band. And I was at this like dance. It was like, 7, 8 o'clock. It wasn't even that late evening. And I remember like getting there and having just a mission. Like, I'm going to dance with this girl. And so I went up to my friend. I was like, all right, it's game time. What do I do? Cause like, you have the inside information. You're going to help me. Yeah. And she's like, like the music's just a little too loud. And so you're kind of doing this thing. And so she gives me some advice. She's like, oh, she's real. She likes funny guys. So just say something funny. And I'm like, like what? And I'll save the tagline. But she said, just say this. So I was like, got it. Like, perfect advice. First shot. Not even going to question it.
Oh God.
And so I asked her if she wanted to dance, and she said yes. I should have just fucking stopped there. And so we start dancing, and I just fucking go for it. And I asked if she liked toast. It was just a simple like, hey, you like toast?
Oh God.
And if I remember correctly, her response was, huh? And my dumbass goes, I said, do you like toast?
Yeah, repeat. Yeah, because she really didn't hear you. Yeah.
I don't remember what she said. Maybe, yeah, I guess. Weirdo.
I think if somebody would have asked me that on a dance floor, I would have literally just turned around. Like, I would have just acted like, oh man, my friend's calling me. Like I would have had to just like bolt.
I'm like shaking. I feel like my hands are sweating just telling that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. No, it's like the embarrassment, just the rejection of like, God, I thought that was going to land, and it just totally fucking fluffed.
You know what's funny? I have always thought that girl is like next level pretty. Like, what the fuck are you doing out here? You don't even look like you're trying, and you're just like so fucking pretty. And I remember in high school, you and I were dating, and you had like a history class with her or something. And I don't remember who was in the class with you guys, but they came out, and like I was in the hallway like waiting for you. And they had said something about how like you had been rubbing her back or she had been rubbing your back, one or the other. And I was so fucking mad. And I think it probably was totally one of those, like, it wasn't a back rub. It was like a fucking, squeeze, get up, walk away thing because y'all were like friendly. But that is not how it was reported to me. And I was like, hey, she's too pretty for you
Yeah.
to be any sort of physical contact. Okay?
Don't worry, I
Like,
blew it with
don't-
the toast line. So I'm pretty sure I took my chances from like
Yeah.
maybe like 1 or 2% down to a cool 0
Sure.
at that point.
Yeah.
So
Oh man. It's funny because you were like, when we were talking about this earlier, you were like, oh, I have a handful of things I could like think about. So like, you know, you should be thinking about it too. And I don't know if I just was like too afraid always to take those big risks, or like if I ever did something that ended up being horrifyingly humiliating for me, I have like blacked it out because I can't remember a time where like I shot my shot and then was like,
okay, maybe it's not a shoot your shot type of thing. Okay, so here I have another quick one. It was a 7th or 8th grade period. And I was in band. We were on the high school side, rehearsing for drumline or something. So I had my unitard that I talked about, or the Spanx or whatever they're called. I had that on, and then I don't know, something over it. Man, I don't remember. But I remember thinking like, I'm looking kind of good. You know? Like, today's a good day. And we do. I wasn't.
asterisk, wasn't looking good.
I was looking like on a scale of like, you know, like the 10-day period, that was like probably my best day of those 10. But relative to everybody else's days, nah. Anyway.
You were still growing into your own.
We were coming along. And so there was like a junior high basketball game going on between OV, the school I went to at that time, and then Eastern, the old school that I used to go to before moving. And I knew it was happening, but I wasn't able to like go over there because of practice. But there were the double doors where you could cross over into the middle school and then go to like the vending machines and like the bathroom area. So I went, popped in the bathroom, grabbed a bag of chips. And as I was walking back, 2 cheerleaders were coming through the hall to like, I don't know, go to the bathroom or whatever. And I bumped into them perfectly. And it was 2 girls that I knew like very well from elementary school. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, like. And I thought they were like, oh, hey, like very excited to see me. And I was like, this is going really well. Like they're smiling, they're laughing. This is great.
They were talking to you.
Well, no, they were looking at me or looking in my direction. No, so I said my like, okay, see you later. And I felt it went totally great. And then I got into the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I had a literal like half a macaroni noodle just hanging off my. Those son of a bitches were not going to say any. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they were just laughing at me the whole damn time. And here I am thinking like I'm laying on the schmooze. I got cream of cheek going on.
How did you not know there was a noodle on your face? It's not like you had facial hair to like buff.
I had 0. No, just a few pimples and macaroni. Dude, it was not a pretty sight, I'm sure. But so just like look at when you that moment of looking in the mirror and going, oh no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a scarring one. That's because it wasn't just like, again, it was like these were 2 of the popular girls who like, hey, maybe I could pull that whole like he went away for a couple years and he got hot and cool. Nope. Nope. They were like, oh, cool, exactly as we remember. Right on. Yeah, macaroni on the cheek. Makes sense. All right, see you, Logan.
When did you eat macaroni?
Probably just some point before. I knew, but I know it was a noodle.
Like
for sure. So I know I was eating macaroni.
I'm just trying to picture like how long the noodle maybe had been on your face.
Oh yeah, probably a while. Probably a while. I don't know. Like, I'm sure we had just come from. I don't remember what we were doing because we also at those times like we would do those like drumathon things, where it was like we were at the school for literally like 16 hours out of a day or whatever. So it might have been close to. I don't remember, but I vividly remember the noodle. So just one. It was a half noodle, where it was like split in half. Because if it was a full noodle, I think it would have fallen off. But it just. It had like, the little concave and just like a little suction. So it held on for a while. It was definitely a you gotta be kidding me moment.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So anyway, it could be a moment like that. It doesn't have to be a shoot your shot. It could be like a moment of missed confidence.
I don't know how you didn't black that one out.
No. That's very vivid. That's painted on the inside of my eyelids.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
I'm sure it is for them too,
God.
as well.
Oh God. No. Yeah, no, nothing quite like that. I do remember though, when a guy shot his shot with me, and I think it did not. What he was trying didn't land.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a boy. He was a year older than me, and this must have been like early high school. Because he definitely had his license. And he had a sister that was in my sister's grade or close enough. So like they knew each other, and I knew this guy for like a long time through like my sister and his sister playing sports together.
Okay.
Whatever. And this dude was super, super nice. But he was almost like the poster of like nice guys finish last.
Yeah.
Like he was so nice that it was almost like there's no like entertainment, right? There's no like you need like a healthy amount of like drama or something going on in high school. It's like, are
you saying he was boring, Kate?
I mean, yes. Okay. He was like very safe, you know?
Sure.
And that was not sexy. That wasn't sexy to me.
Okay.
But he asked me out, and I was a nice person. So I said yes. And thought like, I'll just give him a shot. Maybe because I knew he liked me a lot, and I knew he was a nice dude. So I'm like, maybe I will like become attracted to him, or like maybe it'll work out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We have been dating for, I'm not kidding you, 2 fucking days. 2. And my dad came down from the mailbox one day, and he was like, hey, some kid just like put this in the mailbox. And
how do you know where you live?
I literally don't know. I literally do not know. But he had driven to my parents' house and put a mix CD in the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like full of like country songs, which like no shame to country lovers. I'm not.
Know your crowd, dude.
This is one of those things I'm talking about. He was like,
I need to give you a piece of my heart.
He was like a nice country boy, and I was not a country gal, you know?
Fair enough. Yeah.
So it's full of country songs, which is fine. There were a couple bops on there I hadn't heard, like Barbecue Stain and like whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Okay. But in the note that he left me, which was very long, too long.
Did you read it all?
Well, of course I did. My friends did. I let the volleyball team read it. Like,
Caitlin.
It was, listen, because it was like, dude, I've been dating this guy for 2 fucking days.
Okay.
What am I going to do here?
Right.
But in the PS of the note, he was like, hey, specifically listen to this track.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to it.
Spotify to be prepared. Go ahead.
Listened to it, and I didn't know that song up until then. And so I'm listening to it, and I'm like, this feels like a lot for us dating for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And good for you. I was trying to figure out what the song was earlier when I was thinking about it. And I literally, all I could remember was it was something about punching a clock, watching the clock and waiting to get home.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I can't remember what else it was. But it was like definitely a love song. It was like very intense.
Yeah.
And you immediately.
Oh, man. As soon as you said punching the clock, I was like, my brain was just going through my Rolodex of I know this.
Yeah. And you're like, was it Rascal Flatts? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Cause I didn't listen. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't listen to Rascal Flatts.
And so I did the march in my head of like,
Yeah. So, what's it called? It's called like these days.
These days is what we landed on.
These days. And it's like, punch the clock, head for home.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
Punch the clock, head for home, check the phone, just in case.
Go to bed, dream of you. That's what I'm doing these days.
That's what I'm doing.
I tell you, I dumped him so fast after he gave me this because I'm like, listen, the song was fine. But the fact that you put a PS, this one, and I'm like, this hits creepy to me.
I wake up, the teardrops.
They fall down like rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, the song's fine. But like, I'm 15 years old and you're
talking about punching the clock.
I don't even know how you know where I live and you're putting love notes in this mix CD. I mean, it was just so intense, so fast. And then I felt really bad after I dumped him because I'm like, I knew he was sad. Yeah. I knew that he thought he was doing something.
Yeah, he's pulling like
he thought he was doing something. And I immediately was like, nope. Like
in retrospect, his heart was in the right spot of like, it's cute to like want to make, because I did that for you. It's like making little, you gotta do it in the right way.
Oh my God.
You can't go to a girl's house without, yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. And if we could please,
I think I know what you're going to say.
Please let me put that track 1 on the Patreon for bonus content.
No.
You guys, listen. No.
Dude, I cringe when you like put it on, like just like shut that the fuck off.
I fucking forgot about this. Logan made me this mix CD and we had been dating for like, because like you gave it to me right before like Thanksgiving break and we had started dating in January. So we were dating for like a while at that point, 10 or 11 months.
Yeah.
And you gave me this mixtape and I was going to go with my parents to visit my sister for Thanksgiving and she was living in Atlanta. So
you were flying, right? Or were you driving?
I don't remember.
I remember you had a long trip. So that I think
we
was
drove.
That was the catalyst of knowing, I'm going to be in the car.
I'm almost positive we drove.
Okay. Whatever it was. I knew it was a long trip.
And so, I mean, and I listened to, at this point, we were in love. Okay. So that didn't creep me out. I liked it. But track 1 of this CD literally starts with a, hey there.
Oh my God. Stop it.
And then it's like 2 minutes of Logan talking about all these things that he loves about me. And it's like the sweetest, corniest, goofiest. But like, you have to let me put it on the Patreon.
Bro.
Like, dude, it's so sweet. Even just a little clip of it. Even just like a little, it is. He talks about how I like to have my peanut butter and jellies cut diagonally. It was so sweet.
I was a pretty romantic.
But the way that I made like my whole family listen to that multiple times on that trip.
Yeah, and they laughed at me about
multiple times on that trip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh man, dude, that was.
I don't know about that one. Listen, there's embarrassing, and then there's like, okay, jail. You go to jail.
Yeah. No, it's so sweet. But a side note, going back to the nice guy.
Yeah.
Later in high school, I want to say maybe like the next year or something, he started dating this other girl, and she lived right next door to me, which I think was just like a weird coincidence, but whatever. I won't look into it too much. And word on the streets in school was that he had like come over to her house and they had gone back into the woods to like mess around as high schoolers do. But they were like backdoor messing around. But he like managed to get himself wrapped up in some fucking poison ivy. And they both like came to school talking about the fact that like there was an issue. There's a problem back there. And I thought at that point, maybe, he's trying to shed that nice guy thing because he's out here hitting the back. As a high schooler? Good for you.
I guess.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I was impressed, but not not intrigued, not interested.
Okay.
But impressed. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I dated somebody right before you and I dated.
Yeah.
And it was somebody that I had been like really good friends with. I gotten to be really good friends with them my like freshman year. And then I don't remember at what point they had like asked me out, and we like dated for a few months, not like anything crazy.
Yeah.
But he basically had like gotten his braces off and was like immediately more attractive and was like getting more attention. So I think he like dumped my ass so that he could like explore other options. But I was like in like high school love with this boy. And I remember being so fucking embarrassed when I had to walk up to him at school that like day after we had broken up or whatever to give him back some of his stuff. Cause I had like one of his sweaters and like this t-shirt that was his from like a little league basketball league or something. And I fucking tried so hard to just like give it back and like be cool. But I like ew.
Getting to you now again.
I like immediately started sobbing.
There you go.
Oh my God. Like, and I remember it was such a scene out of like a high school drama because my friends were with me. So I turn around and they all put their hands around me and we walked off like, but I was so heartbroken. Fucker. But then you came along, you sweet little thing.
Was I next?
I think you were.
Nice.
I think I was single for a little bit, and then I think you were. Yeah.
Almost 18 years.
I remember when you and I first started dating, you were talking about like because you had kind of made a little name for yourself as somebody that like must have something going on because you had like had a couple of girls that were like older than you that you were dating, that you had dated.
Yeah. Well,
I guess.
it was this weird, like
So it's
all
like,
through elementary school, it was like nothing. And then in, middle school, there was this weird shift of like, I had a couple and then out of nowhere, I was like dating seniors as like an 8th grader.
Like 8th grade and 9th grade, like
what?
You were dating like, these older, and they were like older than me even. And so there was this little bit of like, what's he got going on? Like, what is it? Because like, but I remember you telling me about like how this girl that you had dated had like this really like dirty car and you were like really bothered by it, which I thought was like funny, coming from a high school boy, that you would be bothered at all by some messy person's car.
I'm not messy though.
But were like, you were so appalled. I'll never forget you talking about it because you were so like, this girl's car is so filthy disgusting. And Kate, she had this sandwich on her dashboard that looked like it had been there for like years. It was so disgusting.
It was a peanut butter and jelly, and it was just like one half. Pretty sure it was the jelly side actually, and it was like on the underside, like like where the glove box kind of curves down. And it was just like, I'm sure it was a friend saying like, let's see if this stays. Yeah, just
gross.
Just just your feet are like, your knees are almost to your belly button because they were like on top of just so much trash and just collected stuff. And I know people listen, no, I'm not, whatever. It wasn't my jam. And she wasn't a good driver, like at all. It scared me. Yeah. So just overall, just not my jam. And that was my first, like, maybe hygiene is a thing that I want to be. Yeah. My significant other, or whatever you would call my girlfriend. Yeah. To be participating in.
I don't remember if it was, I feel like it was maybe my freshman year, but it also could have been my sophomore year. But there was this guy that was 2 years older than me, but he was in the same math class as me, which should have been like a clue that he was like not, because he just like, listen, some people aren't good at math, but this guy was like maybe just like not really super excited about being at school, period. Yeah. Which was kind of cool to me. I thought that was kind of cool. And
Okay.
we and we like, I don't know, we're friendly enough, I guess. And he started giving me rides home after school, which I don't think my parents knew about. You know what I'm talking about.
He was kind of dumb.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, listen, I thought he looked good and I thought he was a bad boy.
Okay.
And he would drive me home and we would make out in the driveway.
Hey.
And, and then like we just stopped. Like at one point it was just like we never we were never boyfriend, girlfriend. We never like hung out like that. It was literally just this very specific, which was so strange because I was not that kind of girl at all.
No.
That would have like typically made me feel really like sad if he was doing that with other people. But I think even at the time I was genuinely like, nope, I think we're just doing this and that's fine. But it's like such a weird because I remember feeling like cool that he was interested in me, but also once I was a senior, like I looked at like underclassmen like they were like very small. So it was also like little I don't know.
So then when I came along, you were like, wait, what?
You were
Why was I the because I was underclassman to you.
Yeah, but you were just a year younger than me.
Yeah, I know, but
and you were dating up. Okay,
yeah,
you were you were dating these like upperclassmen girls. I thought there must be something.
There was a period where I thought I was being punked because, and this just popped into my head. It was another drumline practice. It was like, later at night, 7, 8 o'clock. Cause I think those got out around 9, if I remember correctly. Going to the bathroom again, like up in that hallway near like Miss Hayden's classroom and like the technology area. I turned the corner. And again, this is when I was in 7th or 8th grade, like middle school. At that time, I think she was a junior or senior. Said nothing. And she did the classic, like shoved me against the locker, gave me a big old wet mouth kiss. Yeah. And then she's like, "Did you like that?" I was like, yeah. Like didn't know what to say. She's like, "Okay." And then she just like left. I was just standing there like, what the fuck just happened? Because like no one had ever.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to tell me how this is.
I'll tell you what it was. I definitely, even then though, I was like, okay, cool, thank you, but not you. Like,
Yeah. Was she upper? You said she was upperclassman, older than you.
Yeah. But that was a moment where I was like, are they fucking with me?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way, because like it was also in a manner of like, there was no interest shown or anything. It was like I'm gonna test this kid kind of thing.
Yeah.
And actually, the person that I had mentioned like a handful of episodes ago, where I stood up to her on the bus, I was like, "You're not gonna fucking talk to me that way."
Yeah.
Again, same thing. Like I was technically assaulted, in I'm pretty sure it was 7th or 8th grade, and it was like these like little things. It was like I don't know if they were initiations or hazes, but it's like I don't know. There was this weird period where I felt like, are they testing me or is this a thing? I see your eyes.
What do you mean you were like technically, what kind of hazing stuff are we talking about? Like they would like grab your butt or they would like grab at your front?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember vividly like I was walking through Bottomley's office because they had like the 2 doors on either side. And I was like headed one way and she was coming the other way.
And
she just walked right up to me and she's like, and I was like, good. And then she just passed on by. Yeah. I don't know.
Listen.
Yeah.
Dude, we were talking a little bit about this at lunch today about like how just like wild and weird and crazy like certain things were acceptable from like our childhood up through it feels like maybe like the mid 2010s. And that is some of that behavior similar to like the lunch table talk we talked about where the friend of ours would like get pantsed. And like that was a totally normal thing that like lots of people did. And it's so weird because we had somebody write in something and they reminded me of that website Hot or Not, where you would like, I think you literally would like put together a profile and then people would literally just like rate you. And that was like a normal thing.
That was the prototype for Facebook.
And like, do you remember that one? Oh God, I remember that one website that I think it was popular like late high school, early college for us. But it was like that totally anonymous, like ask me anything, where it was like, I would make a profile and I am Kate Bates and like it was totally anonymous. There was no way to know. And people could literally just like ask you a question or also like comment on you as a person.
Yeah.
And people would write like mean shit to people. And I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to make a profile like this. Like,
I remember when we were in college when that site, there were 2 sites, I'm pretty sure, but the one I remember was called Is Anyone Up? Do you remember that one?
Is that the one where people would put up nudes, but it was like not consensual?
Yeah, it was founded by, what's his name? Hunter or something. And then it's now, it basically, it was taken over by the U.S. government, and now it points to an anti-bullying website campaign. Or
I do remember that. That was crazy.
I remember because I was in like the metalcore band scene.
Yeah.
Like that's who started it. He was in a metalcore band. And so it was all these sceney girls that their nudes would get leaked and they'd get put up. And then, you would have these like a treasure trove of this girl from this state.
Yeah.
And you could like query people down. And then it got into like the band members too. So then there were dick pics being
I remember that
and
too.
Then it blew up into this whole like revenge porn. That was the catalyst, I think, for revenge porn.
But also it was like a lot of underage people because like high schoolers were doing it too. And it's like, how did that shit fucking fly for as long as it did? Like, I know it eventually got shut down, but like,
and I'm sure even today
it was up for a fucking while.
I mean, we're disconnected from the teenager world because we don't have them yet. We will soon. But I do feel disconnected about like what the new hot fucking thing is, because I'm sure it'll just more, because we were talking about like even just like the dumb things. I don't want to say it and like risk the video or whatever, but they say unalived now it starts with an S, and that's what we used to call our drinks at the fountain.
Yes.
When we would get like 10 flavors all together.
Yeah.
And it's like we were kids using a term to like, that
was like
why was
not
that normalized?
Not a term that we should have been using.
Shit like that.
Yeah. And then it made me think of like all of those shows that were on like MTV, but like Room Raiders.
Next.
But dude, Next was so fucking mean.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I like dogs. I'm 34 and I'm an accountant. Next.
Like step off the bus and immediately send her back. Oh my God, dude. That show was so brutal. Or like Room Raiders, I remember watching it and thinking, this is fucking gross, because these dudes are every single time, no matter what, without fail, they were going through your underwear drawer.
Yeah. Oh, see what she got.
Dude, that is so foul. But that was like a fucking idea that someone pitched, and then MTV execs were like, that sounds great. Yeah. And then it was a super popular show for a while. Mm-hmm. Like that shit would never fly.
It was a weird time.
Never fly. And like, I know that like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are in like a little bit of hot water right now. Yeah. And there was that clip that popped up of like him on one of the seasons of Punk'd. Did you see that, where he like made a comment about Hillary Duff? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was like 15 at the time. And he made a comment about how she was like on the list of girls that they're just waiting for them to turn 18 or whatever. And he's like the Olsen twins. And he was like 24 at the time. But I'm thinking like, dude, when I was 24, if I would have been looking at a 15-year-old, that's gross. Yeah. And the fact that he got away with like saying that shit on TV, and it was not a big deal until like it has resurfaced now. And people are like, that's a fucking creepy thing to say. Like, it's so wild. And I was even thinking about like, this girl had sent in an email talking about how like fucking school was just like really brutal for her. She had like a lot of people that just made her life super miserable. But one of the things that she talked about was that she had this teacher, and I think she said it was like 4th grade or something. But her desk would be messy and her teacher would like dump the desk in front of everyone.
Fuck.
Do you remember that? Dude, that was a thing. Yeah. I remember vaguely, that.
Yeah.
Like when kids would have messy desks, you would have like your desk checks on whatever day of the week. And if your teacher looked inside your desk and it was not all put together, they would literally just dump it on the floor.
It does sound vaguely familiar.
And
I
then,
don't recall it ever happening to me.
and then the girl was like, and then I had to like stay in at recess to clean my desk while everybody else got to go out.
Yeah.
And it was like this totally like humiliating thing. And she talked also about how like she basically, I think, like struggled with hygiene for a long time in school.
Yeah.
And so she would get made fun of a lot for like being like the smelly kid, and like kids would make fun of her and teachers would make fun of her. And like, rather than anybody ever reaching out to her and saying like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
She was like, I remember the only thing that anyone ever did was, they called me into the office and like gave me some soap and stressed the importance of hygiene. And it's like, that's but like, I remember there being there was a kid specifically that I went to school with from elementary on the whole time. And clearly like something must have been going on at home.
Yeah.
And rather, like, I never once had a teacher ever say to us when this kid would be absent or fucking whenever this kid would be out of the room or whatever, like never at any point was like, hey, everyone, y'all need to be like,
let's use some compassion.
Yeah, you need to be sweet here. Like this kid isn't choosing to be like, fucking noticeably smellier than you. Like, and also all kids smell first. Like sometimes Ollie comes in and I'm like, yo, like what's going on?
It's happening. Yeah.
But like, there was never this lesson of like, hey, this is really actually fucking hard for this kid.
Yeah.
Whatever, something's going on at home. And like, we need to be fucking kind here. Instead, I mean, I can remember like times I was in the same 5th grade class as this kid. And I remember like, you know, we would all rotate desks every few weeks or whatever, once a month. And every time that the desk would get rotated, whoever would get sat by this kid would like loudly grumble about it, you know? And like that teacher never did they never said anything to us about like, hey, fucking hurtful, don't do that. And I can remember getting sat by this kid and then going up to but I mean like, to my defense, because I wasn't a fucking asshole. Like I remember approaching her at like recess or lunch or something and being like, hey, like, I don't want to sit by this kid. Like they smell really bad. Like I don't. And I think that the answer was something like, well, everybody has to have their turn sitting by them. And it's like, dude, like what the fuck? Like
we all rotate.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I just remember like this poor dude, like it had to have just been so hard in elementary school that then like by the time we got into middle school and high school, he was like kind of a dick. But it's like, you can't even fucking blame them when it's like, when you're just mercifully bullied.
Have I told the story?
Mercilessly?
Mercifully. Have I told my story on here about the D&D night that I had?
No.
Okay. I would like to tell that.
Yes.
Because I think that kind of fits into this.
I think it's important.
I think, for full transparency, I never really considered myself a bully through school. But I would say there were a few people that, you know, I poked and, you know, in retrospection, if there were a time that I would say I did bully anyone, or they took it negatively anyway, they had a negative reaction to what I was doing. I thought, okay, there's a few people. And I specifically remember running into the younger brother of someone. And this was a person that, in my eyes, it was just like a fun daily game. And it was like a who would win game. And I was in the percussion, so I was in the back of the band room. And he was, what instrument did he play? He was in a chair and he played a horn of some kind. And I remember, maybe it was a tuba, but I remember walking in because he was one of the first chairs off to the side, and I would try to sneak in before class every day, like a little on the bottom of his chin. Because he was, he always had a beard, and I thought it was fucking stupid but funny to just, it was like a game. Could I catch him off guard every day and give a quick little before I went to the back? And do I consider that bullying someone? No, but he one day, like, he would always like, stop it. Like,
it was clear he didn't like what
he
you're
didn't
doing,
like it. Yeah.
so.
But that's like what made it more fun, was like this, like, I'll get you tomorrow.
Yeah. And he's like, fucking stop.
Yeah. And I just, yeah. And I remember one day he like totally flipped out on me and like started chasing me around and this was a big dude, like tall, just.
Yeah. He could have fucking beat your ass if he wanted to. Yeah.
And that caused a big like yell from the band teacher, and then into the office. And then he apologized to me. And then, he had told me that, he was struggling with XYZ. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, fuck. So, so sorry. I didn't do it again, of course, after that. And then there are a couple other people who, I don't think I necessarily said anything, but like, I also know that I didn't go out of my way to be nice to them either. Mm-hmm. Because, similar to the person you were talking about, I felt the same way about a couple other people. Anyway, so when we were we're back in Indiana. This was what, like 5 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. And I had run into the younger brother of one of these guys, and I basically just started talking to him, and I was like, hey, if you see your brother, just like, can you just give him like a general, like, I'm sorry, and like if he's willing to like shoot me a message on Facebook or whatever, I'd be happy to like talk to him, because I'd feel like he's someone I owe an apology to. Yeah. And I think he was caught off guard. He's like, oh, sure. Like, he didn't really know what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. But I was just, feeling like I needed to do that. Yeah. And so I followed through with it, and I ended up inviting, it was him, and I think there was like it was him, 2 other guys, and then some of their like tangential friends. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Something I've always envied about you guys is that you guys know the world of D&D. Mm-hmm. And I know nothing about it. I always wanted to learn. Mm-hmm. And so I would love to like offer to have you guys come over to my house, treat you guys to a meal, and we could like start a campaign together. And they all accepted my offer. And it was really only awkward like for the first like couple minutes, because it's like, hi, like I'm here, like, this is like an interesting life circumstance or whatever. But very quickly it was like, nah, let's just like be nerds and D&D out. Yeah. And that was a moment I felt like, if I'm being honest, like super proud of like myself as a human, that like those are the moments like you think you want to do, to like, oh yeah, I'm the type of person who would do that. Yeah. I was like, no, I actually did do it, and it did take some effort to do that, and some pride swallowing or whatever. But yeah, because again, I still don't look back on myself as a bully, but I still felt like there were a couple wrongs I wanted to right, and I hope that it was just one night. We didn't. Unfortunately, it was hard to get. Well,
we moved pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, we did. That was right.
Because you kept those D&D papers literally up until we moved, because you had anticipated getting together again.
And I was really sad, because I was like, oh, this is something I would like to, I could do regularly, and have some friends. Yeah. And but yeah, I think it was just like a side road real quick to like, it is important, even if you think you haven't had an impact on someone, I do challenge people to like,
I think we can all look back on encounters that we've had where we like didn't handle it right. Yeah. Whether it was like all the way back when we were kids, or if it was in college. Yeah. I told this story on another podcast that we did not release. But I, when I went into college, I basically had qualified for this scholarship program for people whose parents didn't go to school. But it required me to go to college for the summer, the year like before my freshman year. And they did a couple of like intro, like basically teaching you how to be a college student.
Yeah.
And I roomed with a girl that I was friends with from high school because she was in the program too. And that summer we like had a great time. Like it went really well. And so it was easy for us to just decide that going into the actual freshman year, fall semester, that we would just continue to room together.
Mm-hmm.
And she had been dating this guy that I was also friends with for a while at that point. Like probably a full year. And I remember like it just kind of started to feel like he was over a lot. And I didn't know how to communicate that right. I think for me, it immediately went to this place of like, what they just like think that this is like their fucking hangout. And I'm just like here and it feels awkward every time I'm here because they're up in the bed together and I'm alone down here.
Even I had some frustrations of like, hey dog, like we're kind of friends too. Cause like I was friends with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Cause we were in band together.
Yeah.
And so I do remember this feeling of like, and I don't think I ever really vocalized it, but I had this thought of, yo dog, like, do I get time with my girl? Like,
well, yeah.
You are always like dibs on the sex room, or you know, like if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me there was a part of it too, which again I think at the time I didn't know how to say it, but it's like, hey, I loved rooming with you over the summer because we were friends and we like would go do these things, and now it feels like I don't ever get to hang out with you because he's always here and you guys are always doing your thing, and you're not like a fun couple for me to hang out with because you are very like touchy with each other
for sure.
Yeah. And so which
they're still together today. So like,
so we got in this big fight, huge fight. And then she meant to text one of our like mutual friends saying some shit about like, you know, that I was being a bitch and she didn't want to go back to the room. But she sent it to me instead of the friend. And I saw it. I was so pissed. I remember exactly where I was walking back from. But I was not far from our dorm room. And so I messaged her back something like, hey, am I correct to assume that you didn't mean to send this to me? Because that would be pretty. And she said something back like, yeah, no, that would have been stupid of me. And I was like, yeah, that is fucking stupid of you. Like I was and I'm not a confrontational person, but I had just worked myself up into this, like, I don't know how to say what I need to say to like really, really say to you that I'm just sad that it feels like I don't have my friend anymore. Instead, I'm mad. So I'm pissed. We get in this big fucking fight. And she also was like a very gentle, non-confrontational person. So it was like, I don't know, it blows up. She ends up not only moving out of the room by Christmas, she literally left the school and went to a different school. And I did not speak to her for a very long time. And then when we lived up in Kendallville and I knew we were going to move back to Spencer, I knew we were going to move back to that area. I knew there was a chance I was going to be in Spencer a lot. I sent her a Facebook message and we were not friends on Facebook. So I didn't even know she was going to see it. But I sent one to her and then I sent one to another girl that I had been really good friends with and then had just a big falling out in college. But basically just saying to her like, hey, I'm just really sorry about the way that I handled that. Like that was really foul of me. At a certain point, I literally was saying anything that I could think of to hurt you. I didn't mean a lot of what I was saying. Like her and this guy were married at this point. Like, you know, so I was like, I'm so happy that you guys worked out. Like, I need you to know that I'm really sorry for the way that I treated you and the way I handled that. And like, I just don't want to feel like if I see you in public that we're going to have this awkward thing.
Right.
And like, she ended up messaging me back and like, we were able to just kind of, you know, squash it, you know, like, we were stupid, 18, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like in her defense, like I think her parents were like a little stricter than, I mean, my parents were strict too. You weren't like allowed to come over and like hang out in my room all the time. But like, I think for her, it was a way for like that room was the first time that her and her boyfriend could like really spend time together. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, so I think just on the topic of like, if you know there's a time where you have not handled something right, I think that like the weight that was lifted off of me, because I felt like this girl and this other friend of mine, like these were two very real situations that I felt like I had handled so fucking poorly, and I felt so much shame about it.
Yeah.
That like for me to come to them and for them to like forgive me and also say sorries, because I deserved an apology too about some of this. And like, it just felt like this really like healing moment for all of us. And so I think similar to like you and this guy, you know, you didn't intend to bully him, but intentions only mean so much, right? And for him, you could have been somebody that like made a certain part of his high school not fun.
Yeah, right. Well, and I think that was part of the decision of like, even now, objectively, it's like relatively harmless compared to like the type of bullying you actually fucking, you know.
Sure, yeah.
But as an adult, it started to sink in like, yeah, it's kind of irrelevant. It's like what I think is like harmless. Like if it really affected this person, you know, I could be doing it's a simple gesture of saying, hey, I'm not that kid I was doing stupid shit like that. And I do have some empathy towards your situation, and I want to make that right. And I think that's like literally one night of my life. And there's a possibility that healed that possible wound for this person.
Yeah. It's like so healing for you. It's also potentially so healing for them. And I think for me, we've talked about like certain friendships of mine that have like fallen off, and like I am someone that is forgiving to a fault most of the time. Like you don't even have to typically mean it. If you tell me that you're sorry, I'm going to like, I'm going to take it for what I hope it is.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that it's like, dude, if you would just tell me that you're sorry, if you would just tell me I didn't deserve for you to say that to me, or I didn't deserve for you to treat me that way, or for you to just like discard my friendship so easily, that would be so fucking healing for me. Because I'm somebody that like, in order for me to really move past a thing that hurts me very deeply, I like need that acknowledgement that I didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are a lot of parts of me that I am like, if somebody tells me that I do something that hurts them, I don't feel super confident in a lot of things about me. So it's like, I imagine I'm very easy to gaslight, you know, like, so if somebody would say to me, well, I fucking did that because you did this thing or whatever, it's like, I'll get so focused on like, did I do that? Did I say that? I don't think I said that, but did I say that? And it's like, I will just go to this place of like really shitting on myself and questioning like if I am a good friend or if I did handle that thing right. But the older I've gotten, and like some of these more recent friendships that have fallen off in the last, 5 or 6 years, like if I'm thinking of one person very specifically. And if that dude would literally just fucking say, I'm really sorry. Like you were a really, really good friend to me. And I said some fucking mean shit to you that like really called into question your character and how you view people and how you treat people. And that wasn't fair because that's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be so healing to me. And I feel like I deserve that. And I don't think I'm ever going to get that from that person. So I think on the aspect of like you reaching out to him, you don't know what that healed for him, but it could have been a big thing. or this girl that these two girls I reached out to, I don't know how much the mean shit that I said to them affected them or how long it affected them. But like me reaching out and saying, man, that was a really fucked up thing for me to do. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I hope that gave them the healing that I so desperately want from this one person that I don't think I will ever get.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they're like too like narcissistic to recognize, or if they just don't care, or they don't want to feel that shame. I don't know what it is. But I just feel like this one very specific person, like the stuff they said to me at the end, like cut me so bad. And I felt like when I come back with, I genuinely don't know how you're getting that. Like, look at all these examples I can give you of things that I did that would have never portrayed me in that way. I don't understand how you're saying this.
Yeah.
Like that fucked me up for a long time. It's still, I mean, clearly still, I did not anticipate like crying at all.
Like
but
going
it's like
back to the idea of, we're talking about actors not being the same as the person is not the same as the character they play. We've had some friends who we see different sides of them at different points. And so it's like when another side is revealed that is contradictory to the other side that you've come to know, it
calls into question all of it. Like,
and it makes you have this like, oh no, like my perception was
like was any of this real, or were you literally just doing what you needed to do to get what you could get from us?
Yeah.
And then at the end, that's when you said what you meant. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't necessarily intend to go down that road. So
hey, this was supposed to be a funny one.
I know. My God. Anyway, just say you're fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. If you hurt somebody, just say that.
Yeah.
Like running from it doesn't fucking make anybody feel better. I didn't feel better. Clearly, like whenever the first thought that came to mind when I knew we were going to move home was, what if I see this girl in public? Like, I clearly felt fucking shame from that.
Yeah.
So just say you're sorry. God.
Here, I have an idea. Let's loop it back around to some funnies so we can leave on a lighter note. But I will wrap it back around to bullying that we were talking about. I'm curious to know if you have any like standout bullies.
People that bullied me?
Mm-hmm. And I'll start and you can think. But when I went to Eastern, I lived out in the sticks, okay? And it took me a solid like hour 15, hour 20 bus ride in the morning to like get to school. At least I remember it being that long. I know it was fucking forever. And I know there was one route, maybe it was after school, that was longer because we had to go anyway, whatever. Not a fun, enjoyable experience to have to be on a bus that fucking long twice a day. And my bus driver, not the friendliest, but her kids rode the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was like 2 grades older than me, something like that, 2 or 3. So like just enough. And he was a bigger dude. And he just picked on me all the time. He was just fucking mean. And I would try to like tell the bus driver, but obviously her son, not much would happen. And then I would go home, bitch to my parents. And it was this cycle for a long time. And we'd get in fights, and then I'd get separated. I'd have to go to the front of the bus because this fucker would whatever. So truly at that time, like probably one of my first like real bully situations. And unfortunately, the person giving me advice on how to handle it was Darren. And he was like, old school in the fact is like, here, I'll tell you what you can do. I'll give you my high school ring. This is what I used to do. You put your ring on, you flip it around upside down, and when he does something next, you just flop upside the head. And I was like, nah. It's like, okay, so this is what you do. And this is the advice I actually took. He said, next time he does something, just spit in his face. That was the advice I got at like, man, I was like third grade,
Just like, dog,
fourth grade,
man,
maybe.
He had to know that kid was bigger than you. Man, like you are
He set
setting.
me up.
Oh my
He set me
God.
up. He actually gave me, I didn't take this advice, but I really thought, man, I planned it probably like laying in bed for weeks. But he at the time, at the time I was in violin class. So I would go to school with my violin case. And that was why he kept fucking with my violin case. He said the next time he does it, you take it like a baseball bat and you bash him upside the head with it. Like that was literally the advice I got. Didn't take that one, but one day, I was just waiting. I'm pretty sure it was the next day that I got the permission to spit in this kid's face. That I took that permission and I ran with it.
Eager, you couldn't wait.
And he
Please
did something.
be mean to me.
I didn't even give him like it was a set. He was like putting his finger in my face for the first time, just like okay.
Oh,
and he was so in shock about what I did that it was like probably a good like 3-4 second delay between like. And I'm telling, I've been hit hard by my brother, but he hit hard, so hard I just don't remember the impact, and it just the definition. I had heard the term "get your bell rung." This was like the first time I was like, "Oh, that's what that means."
Oh,
it's like right here, right in the temple, like
Oof.
right above the temple. Just a good solid knock. And then we got fucking in trouble, and then had to go to the principal's, all the things, and I'm pretty sure. I don't remember because this used to happen. I don't know if anybody else remembers, but my parents would like put us in the car and then go drive to that kid's house, or several times that kid would come to our house, and it'd be this weird like through the storm door like apology. Did you ever do that?
ugh.
I don't know if that was just a thing
so.
for where I'm from, but
I mean, I had heard of that. I just never I literally have never gotten in a fight with somebody.
Several times. Yeah, there was another girl on the bus that like we had a lot of issues with, and I remember she came into my house and had to apologize through the door.
But also honestly, I wish some kids would come up here and apologize for the way they treat Oliver.
That is true. That is true.
Feels like nobody does that anymore. Maybe they should. No, I don't even know how I managed to skate through my entire schooling and not have any bullies. 'Cause I definitely I think it was because I knew how to fucking mirror people. So I didn't piss people off like that. You know what I mean? I knew how to make sure I wasn't annoying you for the most part.
So when a bully was around, are you saying you mirrored a bully?
No, I'm saying I fucking floated into the background.
Oh, okay.
I made myself invisible at that point.
Okay.
I'm sure there were moments where I should have been sticking up for people and I didn't. But nothing jumps out to me right now.
Okay.
But I do remember, so I went through like that. I don't even want to call it a phase because I did it always.
Yeah.
In high school where like if I noticed there was like a new kid or even a kid that like wasn't new, but was somebody that was sitting alone, I would like make it a point to like invite them to come sit with us.
Yeah.
And I remember I did it for this kid that I think was new. And I noticed he had sat with himself, by himself for a while. And so I was like, hey, we should invite him to come sit with us. And there was always a little bit of kickback from the table because it's like awkward to invite a new person in. And we were all pretty good friends.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, dude, look, he's sad. Like, that's sad. Like, so we invited this kid to sit with us, and he ended up sitting with us for like a fair amount of time, long time. But this kid had been homeschooled, which I only bring up because I do think that it's just like, I don't even know that that's a stereotype. I think it's legit. Like homeschool kids are just a little quirkier than others. We've got a homeschool kid. I get it. Okay. But this
fresh homeschool, but yeah.
Well, Ollie has always acted like a quirky homeschool kid.
He's acted like the homeschool kid even in public school.
Yeah, bless.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Ollie's got a lot of emotions, but we invited this kid to sit with us. And the first few days, it was fine. He was fine, whatever. But then he started to get like real comfortable at the table. And I remember a couple of times, one very specific time, where it felt like for no reason at all, he looked at you and said something along the lines of, what would you do if I just punched you in the face right now? And he started making like weird comments like that, where it's like, what are you doing?
I feel like I remember something. I think I know the
Do you
kid
fucking
you're talking. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I feel like he made a comment once about like hating people with glasses.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's what it was. Yeah.
bro, you wear glasses.
Yeah. But he said it, and then he was like, it makes me want to punch them in the face.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he's looking dead at you because you were the only other person at the table besides him that was wearing glasses.
What?
And he would just kind of make these like random violent remarks.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah.
It was very like violently driven. And
Hey,
it
should we say something to the principal?
it literally got to a point,
Yeah.
where it was like, this kid is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then you don't want to like tell them not to sit with you anymore, because
Yeah.
then if they decide to do the thing that makes you
Yeah.
uncomfortable, then you're on the list, you know?
Yep. Hey, remember me?
But man, I just,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, like that doesn't tie into like a bully thing, but just one of those situations where it's like, I felt like I was trying to do something nice, but I, in fact, invited the wrong person to the table. And then it felt like this weird scenario where it's like, I don't know
How do you divest from
how
the
do I get us
situation?
out of this without coming off like a fucking mean
Yeah.
person or like a bully, to say, hey, I don't want you to sit with us anymore. I think we literally just got saved by the fact that like the next semester, our lunch hours got swapped up.
Right. Man.
And then he wasn't in that lunch thing anymore.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder what that kid's doing now. Cause he was,
I hope he's doing well.
I hope he's doing well too.
Hope he's doing well.
I hope he got it figured out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Cause, woof.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
Well, you want to close this up? I think that's a good spot to stop.
Sure. Yeah. If you have not joined the Facebook group, that thing is slowly climbing up there. We're very excited about that. Hop on in. It's Broken Youth Club on Facebook. And if you have a story to submit, I'm a little backed up on emails. Y'all are starting to really roll these in. So I need to start setting aside more time to get through all of them. But if you'd like to send in a story, you can send that to mylife@brokennouthclub.com. It's just me in there. So I will, I get to all of them. I answer everybody. But it's just going to take me a little bit because I got a couple things going on right now. And then the Patreon has launched. So we've got the bonus episode up there. We've got some bonus content in there. Logan shot a couple of videos today while we were out and about that he was going to put together and I think put in that.
Yeah, we were going to go to the Ren Fair, but we
There's some
showed
bonus
up
content.
and they like, I think the promoter or whoever put it on maybe overbooked it is from what we're seeing.
I think they underestimated the amount of people that were going to come.
Yeah, and so,
so
couldn't
we
go today, but we're going to try to go tomorrow, right?
We're going to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
maybe
so
get some footage of that. That'd be fun.
That video, kind of the weekend adventures, will be up there. So if you would like to see any of that stuff, we are like so thankful to everybody that has joined that Patreon. That is so special and so kind of you.
And then we will be putting up something soon. I know we need to do our live something or other here
the thing
soon.
for the Honors Club. Yes. So we'll be putting out, we'll shoot messages to you guys on that to kind of figure out like a time that works and gauge what time zone everybody's in.
Yeah.
So that we can get that on the schedule for this month. And then if you would like to support the show, but maybe aren't in a place where you can support the Patreon, we totally understand that. My birthday is on the 9th, which I guess when this is coming out, that will be yesterday. But for us, it is a couple days away.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm asking for my birthday this year is just to have people help support the show by sharing an episode with somebody, telling a friend about it. I'd love if we could get like over 100 views like total, or not views, reviews.
Yeah.
Total. I think we're in like the low 80s right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that get pushed up over 100. That's just
away.
like,
it's an easy free way to just go and bloop 5 stars if you like the show.
Yeah, if you like the show. If you don't, just don't leave a review, please. Don't
and please
don't hurt me.
I know I shouldn't have to say this, but I know there's a lot of time suckers. I get the joke. Please don't do the 3 out of 5 stars things. It will hurt us.
yeah. We're too little for jokes like that, okay?
There's a lot of people out there. There's an inside joke, but people will think it's funny, and they'll go and they'll actually leave a 3 out of 5 star review on the time suck side.
Yes. Yeah.
And it hurts the overall algorithm.
It does, in fact.
Review rating. So please don't do that here.
And we would... Our like big fingers crossed, we're really hoping that by the end of the year we can get on some kind of list within Apple Podcasts, like the new and noteworthy or something like that, because we're not big enough to like chart.
Yeah.
But I would love if we could just like get on a list. But in order for us to do that, we need to have like a big boost of reviews or a big boost of listeners.
Reviews help, and then I know in the algorithm it will track when people will just hit the share button and then the copy link. And then that's what you share to socials. Like those little things, when they do add up, they really do help us.
Yeah. So that's kind of the big ask. I don't expect anybody to get me or to even care that it's my birthday. But if you would like to send out a little love for my 34th birthday, 33 was rough. All right. So we're going to have some real fingers crossed that 34 is kinder. And a great way to start it would just be to see those little boosts in those numbers. So that would be sick. But yeah, overall, we're just super thankful for everybody that's here. We're so thankful to everybody that's in the Facebook group that has just continued to show us that y'all are kind and thoughtful and generous and like...
Yep, no trolls so far.
No, you guys have just been so great at like lifting people up when they're having a hard time and sharing out things to kind of give people something to think about. So we're just really thankful and excited to see, what happens as we go on.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Right.
But so I think that's it. We'll see you next week.
Right.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Right.